Hi everyone, my name is Andrea and I sell on eBay full-time with my husband. I just wanted to show you today how we photograph shoes and how we photograph clothing. So all the links for the things that we use are below the video, and I'd like to show you how we do things. So before I get started, I'd like to tell you what we're using for equipment here. So for our background, we have two vinyl white mats that are overlaid by like maybe an inch or so, and we've taped them down here. You probably can't see it in the video, but they are taped down together, which is perfect when you're taking photographs because it gives us huge area for even like long pants or snow pants to get a full shot, which I'll show you in a little bit with the other pants. Now we're using a soft box light kit here. We have two of these set up, and the bulbs inside of these light boxes are like daylight bulbs. They're extremely bright, just so that we can get the accurate color for all of our items. Alright, so the first step before I even snap a picture is to basically prep your shoes. They need to be cleaned, they need to be polished if they're leather. And so there's another video my husband created that's how to clean shoes for eBay, where these shoes were actually polished and cleaned. And you can notice there's still like little scuffs and stuff on there. You see them there? But these have been polished and cleaned, so they look fantastic. Another little trick we have that helps show the true quality of the shoe is we use these shoe horns. Okay, so without a foot in the shoe, it kind of looks like this. It's kind of lumpy, it's got unevenness. That's just what leather does. But when you put the shoe horn in, it's as if someone's wearing the shoe. It has a more accurate description of what it would look like if someone was wearing it. Okay, so you can see the difference. Let me just hold it here for a sec. One on the left has a shoehorn in it, the one on the right does not. And so it just gives that extra little detail of what does the shoe look like if someone was wearing it. Okay, now we're ready to actually photograph. So first shot we usually take is the pair together from an angle, looking downwards as if you were looking at the shoes on someone's feet. Try to center it, and for all of these, I'm just going to say click because obviously I'm not taking pictures right now. But right now I have it centered. I'd say click. That's a photograph. And then I take profile shots. So then we turn it to the side. We try to center it. Make sure there's no colored background, just white. And as close as you can to get all the detail. Click again. Turn it because you need to show all sides of your shoes. Click again. And then do the same with the other shoe. So if I do that, just so you have an idea of how long this takes. Center it, click. Center the other side, click. So I've done a profile shot of both my shoes individually, and I did them in the front together. Now I'm going to do them in the back together. Sometimes you get scuffs on these, and you also need to show wear at the bottom of the soles, because that happens where it gets really uneven. Someone has a weird gait. And so sometimes that's important for buyers to know how much wear is on the sole. And then afterwards, I flip them over. So I'm going to put you guys down. I flip them over to show the actual soles. Alright, so this ideally would not have these markers. We should have cleaned these already. The stickers would be gone. You don't want this to look the way it does right now, but just for the sake of photographing, to show you that you should be taking pictures of the soles, because obviously used shoes are going to get some wear. So buyers want to know how much wear is there on those soles. And then finally, very important because of sizing, you take the shoehorn out and then you go ahead and try to take an image of the information on the insole. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so I'm taking the shoehorns out. Takes a second. Taking the shoehorn out. You may have to unlace these just to get in there, because you need a little bit of light. And for this one, I would just grab it like that, click, and show the size of the shoe and the information inside. Also, you probably need a shot of the insole, because sometimes those can be really beat up, and buyers want to know how beat is that insole, so they have to replace it themselves. Right? So that's basically how you photograph a pair of shoes. So before I move on to clothes, I just wanted to show you some other tools we use depending on the type of shoe. So sometimes the shoehorn isn't the ideal tool to use to photograph shoes on eBay. When it comes to sandals, a fake foot, which is really weird, is perfect for shoes. So these are some really nice, I think they're Birkenstocks. Yeah, and they're jeweled. So the one on the right doesn't have anything in them, but the one on the left does. And it just shows the customer how it would look on their foot. And then for boots, shoehorn isn't going to do much about the tall sections of the boot. So if we don't use anything, it just looks like this. It's kind of caved in itself. It doesn't hold up. It's not very photogenic. But we use a pool noodle. So we've cut a piece of pool noodle and stuck it in there, and you can see now that it can stand up all by itself and you can get a great shot of a shoe. So we use those to help us photograph some of the otter shaped items on eBay for shoes. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to photograph shirts. So this is just a basic short sleeve button up shirt. And so first thing you got to do is check that you have all your buttons actually buttoned. So if a customer sees something unbuttoned and they see it may look like it's actually missing a button. So it is a pain, but you have to button every single button on these. So I actually went ahead and did the button on the pockets, because if I don't, someone may email me like, hey, does this have missing buttons? No, it doesn't. We just forgot to button them. So for photographs, make sure it's the best case scenario and you've done all you can to make it look great. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down. Alright. So obviously if you have a lot of wrinkles, you probably want to steam a shirt, but this one's not too bad. Typically I try to just smooth it out as best I can. I don't want to take too much time to do that. I just want it to look decent. And then I try to center it over here. And then I grab my camera and I will show you how to photograph this. Alright, so now I'm going to photograph this shirt, and again, I'm just going to say click. So for this one, I'm going to get a nice centered shot of the whole item and say click right there. And if this had been a long sleeve shirt, I would have grabbed the sides and I would have folded them over so that they were kind of overlapping the front of this shirt, just because it's easier to center and you don't have to take as much space. Okay, next shot, I just slide my item down so I don't have to move and crawl everywhere. And I get a shot of the label, and if I have a materials information here, I will make sure I have that in my photograph as well. So here I'd say click, and this one says 100% polyester, so that the buyer knows what material. If this was a sweater, and sometimes it doesn't have the material listed here, I would have to go ahead and lift up the shirt, and usually on the side, inside seam, on the left side, I can find a tag that says the material information. This one doesn't have it, but usually on a sweater you would find it there. So I'd have to go ahead and take that shot. So the tag for this one's actually on the right. It just depends on the item. And I would go ahead and zoom in on that. And I try not to get my hands in the shot. It's a pain sometimes. It just depends on what things you're using. Sometimes I use scissors if the tag is all curled up and I can't hold it. So this one I'd zoom in and I'd say click if I could read the writing. And then I flip the shirt over. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so flipping it over, same idea, you smooth it out, make sure it's nice and centered, no wrinkles, okay? And if there are any defects, please make sure you're taking photographs of those. You need to be honest with your buyers so that they don't complain later about those things. Alright, so again, I'm going to center and click, and that's how you basically photograph a shirt. Alright, here I have some Tommy Hilfiger pants, and I showed you earlier my background, but my background is huge. I have two vinyl mats here that I've taped together and overlapped, so you can see that there. But when I pull out here, you can see that the line between them isn't that bad. So we actually use this as a nice huge background for our items. It's a little challenging, but for these we can get the whole shot without having any white in the background. Alright, so I'm going to shoot it like this just because I have this camera set up a little different. But usually we have a 1:1 aspect ratio. Right now while I'm filming, I'm using 16:9, so it's a little different. But if it's a 1:1, I can use those photos on Poshmark. And so right now, I would center my shot and I would say click. I have my photo of my pants from the front. And then I usually take a close-up of the front. So if they're pleated pants, if the pockets are a little unique, we go ahead and pull it down and do another shot like this to give detail of the front of the pants. Then I go ahead and I grab and take a look at the tag. And so I usually try to do this trick where I use my nail at the very edge and then I kind of like center it without my nail in the shot. So right now I'd say like click and I'd have my tag photo without my hand in it. Okay. And then I'd flip my pants over, and always make sure those buttons are buttoned on these preppy pants like this. Sometimes we miss that, and then again a buyer's going to ask us, hey, is that button there or not? They need to know, so it's easier to just make sure you check first. Okay, so I'm going to lay these out again. Alright, the same way as last time, just flipped over, and again I'm going to take a nice distant shot of these pants, center it, and no feet in there, click. And then I'm going to do a zoom in of the back as well. Okay, so same idea. They want to see the detail of the item, so we go ahead and do a close-up of the back. Okay, and so you can see the logo for the item here. They usually care about that as well. So for jeans, these are not jeans, these are like chinos, but for jeans, you definitely want to take a photograph of the cuffs in the back. Those can take a beating. Sometimes you'll see wear down here. You need to show that to the buyer. Sometimes they care, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the type of jeans that they have. And again, if there's any kind of stain or damage, you need to be truthful about that and take close-ups of those as well. Okay, so that's how you photograph pants on eBay. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was really informative for you. And the links again are below the video, so if you're interested in any of the equipment that we've used here for our eBay store, you can take a look there. Please like and subscribe. We're a new channel. We'd love to hear some feedback, and happy selling!